what I'd want to say is that part of the reason I was really torn of being between class and out is because this is an issue that we need to talk very openly about, menopausal issues. And I think you have heard me once in a while in Parliament. When people raise issues, I tell you, quit bothering me, I'm menopausal. Not only because I'm menopausal, but because I want us to start talking about menopause. One, because it is stigmatized. And part of the reason that menopause is stigmatized, it's because it's also attached to what is seen as sexual prowess. And so when women are seen not to be able to be excellent at having sex, then people want to reduce your worth. So you are told you are not worthy because now you can't have orgasm, we kind of want to be equated with the Harambee Stars. Like you'll be given 1.5 million for every goal. And that's not what we are about as women. Whether or not I get my orgasm, I'm still Millie, I'm still the bad girl. So I would love to have the orgasm, but even if I don't have it, I'm still me whole. So part of the reason I want women to speak about menopause is don't feel any less. Because you can't perform. In any event, we perform very well. It's just that there was nobody filming us. If there was somebody filming us, President Ruto would probably have given us more money. But because it was not a public event. So if you are slowing down, it's normal. It's okay. But if you still want to enjoy, I'm glad that there were people here who spoke about many, many issues. But one of the things that came out here is that we are all not homogeneous. From what I was listening to the earlier morning sessions, all women experience menopause very, very differently. And we were just whispering there, and Honorable Njokindungu was saying, I had incidents of hot flashes. I've never had, though I started my menopause very early, because I had fibroids, and after my fibroids were removed surgically, my period stopped. And because for me, my greatest nightmare was my periods throughout growing up, right from high school throughout my entire life. Every time I was having my periods, I would be admitted to hospital. So I was in hospital 12 months a year. And every time I was told, you have aborted. Every time I was admitted in hospital. So when my period stopped, I was very happy. I didn't care what the impact is. I was just happy that they stopped. So after maybe about 2 years, I didn't even link it to menopause because I was in my 40s. So after about 2 years of my period stopping, then they started again. And I'd heard before, sort of casually, not as sitting like this serious what we are having here, that could indicate cancer. So I ran quickly to my gyna and I said, hey, I think I'm developing cancer. So we had to go through many tests. Then he told me, you are perimenopausal. I'm like, what the hell is that? I had no clue what perimenopausal is all about. That is how bad it is. And I'm a lawyer with many degrees. Na sikuwa nimesikia perimenopausal. So now what about other women? How many of us have never had? How many of us have no clue? I'm just asking Betty here. We guess. We live by guesswork. I lost my hair very, very early. And I said I attributed it to chemicals, which partly is true. Then somebody told me it's also because of your hormones. Isn't that now also a menopausal issue? Even though I don't think you talked about hair loss. If you see my hair, it's just that I'm very creative. Lakini my hair inaanza huko nyuma. If I didn't have this microphone, I would have shown you where my hair starts from. And sometimes you see a lot of women with bald head, and you're like, wow, you are so creative. Sometimes they are not creative, it's just menopause. And you are tired of trying to wear wigs and do all manner of things. And you say, what the hell, let me just stick with my hair open. So now for a lot of us as women, those are issues that we go through. When I was in high school, we sang a song. I wish you all those I would have sung it for you, but it won't make sense. But as part of competition, when I was in a school called Angala Girls, and I remember in that song it said, that when I was younger, my grandmother took us to a hut, which was called Siwindenyiri, the girls' hut. And in that hut, we were taught many things. We were taught about sex. We were taught about reproductive issues. We were taught about marriage. But guess what? That Siwindenyiri is no longer there. And I listened to a lot of you here talking about my mother didn't talk to me about it. Because that's the way she was socialized. She was socialized that it is your grandmother that would talk to you about these issues. But where are our grandmothers? Our grandmothers are in Ushago, we are in Nairobi. When will they tell us about these issues? And even then, our grandmothers wouldn't put you like aside. They would be putting within a communal, system. My mother was a trained nurse and social worker. Yet when I first had my menses, she didn't have the words to tell me. She only bought me Seventh-day Adventist books on becoming a teenager. So, and I thought it was a bother reading. So I didn't even know how to deal with having menses. But my mother was a nurse. What I'm saying is that we actually have a gap. And I'm glad that we have such forums, that we must start talking about this. As a legislator, getting to my core issue, I've actually brought a bill. Many of you have seen my bill, which has been under discussion, which is assisted reproduction technology. But that is basically on assisted reproduction. The one on assisted reproduction stems from, a lot of women who have spoken to me about their journey struggling to have children and not having. That time when they spoke to me, I didn't know that I'm not going to be having children. So it is also born of my own experience of not having a child and stigmatizing being childless. No reproductive issues about women. But I've also brought a bill called Family Reproductive Healthcare Bill. It has just gone through the budget committee, and it will be moving, if budget approves it as not having financial implications, it will go ahead to the relevant committee. I'm not too sure whether we'll be able to finalize it within this parliamentary term, because the time is very short. But I just wanted to tell you about the proposed part 10. Is this 10 or 9? This Roman thing, Siju?
This one is 9.
Part 9. So it's reproductive health for advanced reproductive age persons. I know when I was writing this, I said, this is now me, advanced reproductive. You never think you grow old. So I still see myself as young, but I fall under here. So it actually talks about the issues that are of reproductive nature for people who are slightly younger than me and older, meaning people in their 40s, 50s, 60s. And then we have the gerontological age that also has a special part. And some of the issues that we have here is that we are calling on the national government to undertake continuous reproductive health-related research to inform policy interventions and service provision for advanced reproductive age persons. And I think it's one of the issues that came up here. We were even talking, I had somebody talking about, using traditional, foodstuffs. Somebody saying don't use milk, but it comes out as a rumor. We don't have proper research. We need that research. Somebody added me into a group of menopausal women. And the first few days I was very, very happy. Then I said, as another symptom of menopausal women talking too much, I had to leave the group. We talk too much. Honestly, we talk too much. And when you're busy, you can't cope. So I left the group. But we need to actually look at the research on what are the issues that women need when you are going through, what works, what has worked for Mary, what has worked for Lucy, instead of us, trying to guess. Then the other thing is to obligate the national and county governments to respectively facilitate provider-initiated information on reproductive health-related problems for advanced reproductive age persons. What this basically means is that if I go to see my gyna, in my 30s, I'm going to see my gyna on fibroids. Then they should tell me, you are 30 Millie, yes. Please, in your 40s, no, menopause is coming. And these are the likely symptoms of menopause. Because we wait for people to have a problem, then they go and see a doctor. No, we need the doctor to tell you beforehand what menopause is and what you are likely to experience. Because we can't live our lives by guesswork. Half of us here, if not most of us, have no clue. I was listening to a lot of you here. It was happening to us like an accident that I saw. Like I remember one of the times when we were in Parliament, when I first joined Parliament, and I went and complained. I won't say who the woman is, but she was a woman member of Parliament that I looked up to, a senior that I love. Yeah, many of them I love, so don't try guessing. But she would have these very serious mood swings around me. So I'd be like, I don't know what I did to so and so. Sometimes she's so nice, and then sometimes she's so bad. And I was telling a man. Then they told me, Millie, that is called menopause. I'm telling you very honestly, I had no clue why menopause would make her be mad at me. And then they told me, can't you see sometimes she fans herself? She goes by the window. That is hot flashes. And I'm sure it was just rumor mongering. Maybe it was just a hot day. But now the man had more information than me about issues we actually go through. Maybe I'll just give one last example in relation to the issues we want us to cover. We want the government, both national and whatever, to look at issues of chronic conditions such as vaginal atrophy, reproductive cancers, and cardiovascular diseases, sexual difficulties and interventions in men and women of advanced age, sexual and hormonal difficulties and interventions in women, including genitourinary conditions, gynecological malignancies, and menopause. Some of the other ones I've mentioned are actually menopausal issues. Honorable Njoki and I served in FIDA. She was my boss actually in FIDA. I was an employee, she was in the board. And a lot of women would come to us with issues of divorce. And guess what? Sometimes when I look back, they were because of menopausal issues. Because the man starts doubting whether you are faithful because you don't want sex. They don't realize you are already, my body is slowing down. And I have no clue what is going on with my body, so I don't want sex. But you think I've had it elsewhere, that's why I'm saying no. This is why when you talk even about the men, a man who is a serious person, wakes up 67 years old, divorces and marries a younger woman. And then people are wondering, what the hell is going on? Menopause, and what one is the other one of yours? Andropause. So we have, that's why I brought this bill. That it's a comprehensive bill on reproductive health. It takes a life cycle approach, but it also has a gender dimension, so that we look at issues that affect us at all ages. Because when you talk about reproduction, people just think about teenagers and abortion. No, that's not what affects women from childhood. Tuko na shida mpaka tukufe, which are reproductive in nature. But it's put peripheral. So we must make it the center of policy, the center of legislation, and the center of budgeting. Thank you.